Hi, how you doing?
All right.
Very good.
I've been in Rochester maybe 20 years, and last time I was here, it was Amadeus. I'm not sure if you actually class out of Rochester these days. And, you know, being the home of Dickens, it was similar. It was more like Dickens, but with Dickens, it was great expectations followed by big disappointment. And, well, these days I'm married, have a kid, so it's all changed, and I married a woman with OCD, which was fun because from my own education on TV, I thought they were all cleaners, and I thought, great. I never tidied a house again. I was wrong. My one counts. Counts the knobs on the oven, how many times the door's been pushed, and it takes hours to get out. So if I want to be out at 9 in the morning, she's up at 4:30. Half hour to get ready, rest of the time counting. And when I say I've got a kid, we had to go through the IVF route because you can't really sort of have sex with an OCD person that counts. You're like this, looking down, going, no, there's definitely only one of them. The problem is, you know, when we've got the kid now, eventually we're going to have to explain how we met and how romantic it was. And we met in the modern way in a nightclub, and our eyes met across that stroby dance floor. Mine were a bit glazed, hers was fucked. And she said it was very romantic. There was a taste of minty vomit on my mouth. We've got to pass this on to the nipper and sort of get there eventually. And we will, but you know, then we had to explain how, you know, we got together very quickly. Within 2 weeks, I'd moved in. I needed somewhere to live. She needed somebody that could cook, do DIY. Which was great. I'd come home after a 12-hour shift and she'd be, can you defrost the freezer? Can you put a shelf up? I don't think there's a relationship to begin with, more of a DIY project. And then, well, after being sort of together very quickly, I was engaged within a couple of months, and a year later we were married, which for me was great. And I was told one thing, and had to remember just one thing only. It was her day. So £1,000 for a dress, it's a sacrifice, but it's her day. Rolls Royce, which I didn't even get to sit in, doesn't matter, her day. And it went on and on. Posh venue, went, you know, getting married over, you know, a wishing well, her day. But I made sure of one thing, it was my night. You got the wrong idea, I mean, I got pissed. You know, which was good. You know, we had her venue for the day. I chose a shithole for the night where it was £1 a pint, which was nice, and I stripped off from my mother-in-law, which went down well. As you can imagine, the body may have been slightly better back then, slightly more toned. So, and then we went back to the posh venue where we got married and stayed there the night, and there was a knock on the door about 2:30 in the morning. The manager said, is everything okay, sir? Yeah, well, what's up? Well, we've had complaints of shouting. Apparently there's only one, but we're not sure what you've only got one of. And you know, obviously, you know, before I met my wife, I was a chef, and I put in long hours. I thought once I'd met her, and the woman of my dreams, which all changed eventually to nightmares, that I'd have to give that up so I could spend more time with her, do less hours. So I went to university, got an education, and I had ambition. I thought, I'll join MI5. Had tests and interviews, and it was going well, but the only problem is, my father, he's from East Ham and my mum's from Sheerness, and the genetic combination makes me a bit of a twat. And as you can imagine, you know, they asked me to seduce somebody on behalf of the country, fair enough. First problem, you can't seduce somebody with a hard-on. And secondly, I'm a twat. So, unlike James Bond, I'd be in the Florence and Fred shirt, maybe a pair of shoes if it was a posh occasion. QVC's finest adorning my body. And, you know, I turn up there with the Hernblade chat-up line that we always used to use. All right, sweetheart, come here often. Just wouldn't work. But, you know, like I say, I had ambition, and now I have, and I work in a job that's destroying my soul one shift at a time. But, you know, if you met the people that I work with, you'd understand why. We have one particular person. We're going to call him Dick, which is a description and a name. And he's great, but whatever you've done, he's done one better. And he's a nice person, but he's fat, I work opposite him, and I just want to murder. As I say, whatever I'd done, he's done one better, which started with a conversation about fuse boxes, where I said I've moved house, I'd have to change fuse boxes. Oh really? I've done 40 of those. Have you really? And it got a bit competitive, and I started throwing in stupid things. Oh yeah, I'm training for the marathon, I reckon I can do it in about 2:45, 2:50. Do 2.5 flat. Really? And it just went on and on and on. And eventually, because like I say, he's fat, to give you an idea, he does this sort of movement. 5 seconds later, you hear the slap on the desk where his gut lands. So, like I say, it went on, and eventually I threw in something along the lines of, I went to an orgy and, you know, it's full of women, they all wanted me. And he looked and thought, no, I can't actually come back with that one. And who else? We got some, I'm going to call him Garth, because that's his name, he's a bit of an idiot. And one day he was getting a bit stressed, and I heard the phrase, "You're an idiot, Garth." I got involved, what's up? He said, well, they've given Bruce Forsyth a knighthood. Yeah, the problem is, he would never be able to wield the broadsword if he had to defend the Queen. Okay, so it was a long night, and we went through a list of people. He went too old, wouldn't be able to wield the sword, too weak. And then we came to Paul McCartney. He went, well, Scouse, yeah, always up for a fight. And as I say, my wife has OCD, and she worries, and she was at home one night when I was working, and she phoned up and said, we've got a bit of a problem, there's a bit of a storm, it's blowing, the shed roof felt's flapping, you have a petrol strimmer, it's going to fall over, burn the house down. Which was nothing to really worry about, but she panicked, and after I calmed her down, and the next night she's phoned up, there's a slug outside the house on the window. Jesus, it's a slug. And I'm thinking, hold on dear, if you look outside, it's blowing a bit, that shed might catch, and that'll take care of your slug. But yeah, it swings around about the relationship, but we have the son, who I now call Bialza Baby. Reason being, every time he grabs my Sky remote, he goes to the Rocks channel, which is 666. I'm pretty certain he's communicating with his real parents. And the day that we gave our sample at the IVF clinic, there was Satanists there. Because he likes to headbutt me, the floor, anybody, and the first time he did it, I was in pain, it hurts. Didn't realise how bad it was going to hurt, and my wife said to me, he's just a baby, it can't hurt that bad, suck it up, Darren, be a man. So she phoned me up the next night and said, little sod just headbutted me, and suck it up dear, it's not that bad. But because of my son, I've realised something today, and as I say, I've been to university, and I don't class myself as stupid. I've read philosophy, I've done history, social sciences. But I'm too thick to understand children's TV. We're sitting down watching The Night Garden, and I can keep up the plot for most TV programmes within 5 minutes. I have no idea what's going on. I need help, and but obviously, yeah, that's not all we watch on TV. We have a new programme we like in our house, which is Man v Food. I don't know if any of you have ever seen this. It's a great programme. You have this fat fucking American that goes round and eats mega meals. And me and the wife sit there, watch it each week religiously. And she's going, he's doing damage to himself. Oh, that can't be good for his cholesterol. He's going to get even fatter. And I'm sitting there going, but gee, that looks tasty. And, yeah, a bit swings around, let's say, and you know, life is good and I enjoy my life. Well, that's material yet. Well, I say that, I'm dyslexic. I've got notes on my hand, but I just can't read any of them. I've been Darren, thank you very much.
Would you mind? Thank you, Darren.